How do you look back on the Marner exit now that you know what you know?
Well, I stand by 2 years ago when I thought they should have traded him. I stand by last summer when I thought they should have traded him. Like it was.
What about his
I wrote about this at the time. Like it was like after last season, not this past season. I wrote my something at the end where you could see the entire season something isn't right. He doesn't look happy here, and they didn't do anything. And it's like,
yeah, but he was going to stop it anyway.
How do you know?
Because I think it became very clear that he blocked the Rantanen deal.
Yeah, but
clearly.
that was because it was in the middle of the season. He's a pregnant wife at home. Like you were putting.
I understand that. You're not wrong.
If you had forced a,
he was going to Vegas and only Vegas.
Maybe.
I don't think there's any questioning that.
But let me ask you this: if you go back to last summer and you force, and like I remember writing this, thinking this, talking to people about this. If you had forced a confrontation and said, you know what, this is not working. We need 5 teams. And then, like, maybe you can figure something out. Maybe those teams don't give you anything you want. I don't know, but it's not like Nicholas Waugh is like a great consolation prize.
No,
like he's
fine.
Not. Like he
helps. they were in a bind.
But
there.
if you had forced something last summer, maybe history plays out differently. I have no idea. Like who knows? But they didn't. They thought the downside, I guess, was not worth it. Like they figured like. If we go to those teams, we have a list of teams, and they don't give us anything, and then like we've already asked them for the teams, and now we're not going to like. But by not kind of kicking the hornet's nest, like the hornet just kind of hung around and then stung them in the end. And anyway, so it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I am curious. I'd love to get an answer on what Shanahan and Treliving actually knew this time last year. Like, did they know he was out? Because now you're hearing stories. I don't know how true they are, but everyone's known. Everyone knew Marner was going to Vegas. Like if they knew that, then that is significant malpractice. If they knew this guy is out of here and you let him play it out without making him uncomfortable.
Should have known. If I could see that he was out, how did they not? And honestly, I actually think they did see it.
Oh,
it's not like
they knew. I'm
they
sure they
knew all
They're
this.
Not
like
stupid.
they knew it wasn't working. He wasn't happy here, and like. But it's like it's 2 years ago. It's 2023, and there's
isn't it something about Marner too that if you're so unhappy, why don't you go and ask for a change? Why is it on the Leafs to force
because
your way out?
Because maybe you just decided I'm going to play it out, and then I'm just going to choose where I want to go, and I'm not going to be forced into anything. I'm not going to.
Which is what he ultimately
did. I still get
to
play here, and like maybe at that point he's not sure. Like maybe he's like, maybe it looks to me as someone like who is there with the team every day, but like not behind the scenes. I see them an hour a day.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe part of him is like 40% of him is like, you know what? Maybe it can still work here. Maybe we can have a great playoff run. I can be awesome. Things change, the narrative changed, and I decide to stay and I decide to sign. But like if it's like 60%, it doesn't look like he's going to stay. You got to do something. Like
yeah.
But it's the whole. I don't know how we got to Leafs at 419.
Well, I got something that I'll get to this a little bit later on, what I think the league should do with his return. But I remember when we were discussing it, like the exit, even prior to July 1st, and he was being compared to Vince Carter, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. He didn't quit on this team. He didn't demand out.
He didn't. That's not fair.
He didn't quit. He didn't demand out. But I think there is a very, very good chance mentally he was gone. And perception is reality. So if you're dealing with the mob and the way people are going to feel about you, because I was making arguments, I'm like, eventually dust settles, bygones will be bygones, they'll probably retire his jersey in 20 years. I don't know anymore because of the way this is being reported now on the way out. You know, with like when he was in Vegas, he's like, at the Four Nations, we were talking about living in Vegas, and my wife was asking what it's like there. So you were in Vegas in February, you were gone? You were mentally gone. And is there a chance that maybe they could have brokered a deal last year and Vegas and Marner were like, why would we give up a real piece? Just wait a year. We'll catch you down the road.
Not impossible.
And then whose interest is he putting first? The Leafs or the Golden Knights? If there's any reality in that, he was putting the Golden Knights as his priority over the Maple Leafs because to your point, he was already out, already not happy with everything. And, I don't think there's a chance he was vindictive enough to say, I'm playing this out and leaving to leave you guys in my dust. I don't think it's a 0% chance he thought that way.
That's inconceivable. And honestly, I don't know.
Go ahead. But what you're going to deal with is your hometown is going to continue to look at you through a more and more negative lens, which he may not care about, but it's a reality. Toronto's still here. He's in Vegas, but the Leafs and Leaf fans in Toronto still here.
But let me ask you this. What did he do wrong?
Well,
like in
his
whole
performances, let's begin there.
For sure is like the playoff performance.
But isn't that the most important thing?
That's it. But in terms of like, why is he going? He's going to be a villain here. Like, there's no doubt. But why? Like, what did he do that was wrong? Like,
well,
Vince
I mean, the
Carter
contract
is
negotiation
different.
clearly. I mean, we don't have to dig up the whole thing. There's this.
But you don't have to negotiate a contract. Like, he was under no obligation to negotiate a contract.
Right,
Why?
but you're talking about fans here. And again, you're talking about why they would feel the way they would feel. There's two separate conversations, because I've had this argument before with Johnny and even Owen, those guys. Players, it's their life, it's their business. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not naive enough to say that, you got to, like, I get it. I totally understand why they're like, this is my life. I want to get money. I want to get paid. I'm offering up a service. Like, I understand that. But if that's your stance, this is like you're asking what the fans are thinking, trying to justify where they're at. They don't think of it as a business. It is a fantasy for them. Yeah. It is a large. You're living out the dream of millions and millions and millions of people in Toronto and fans throughout the world who are not going to look at it through that objective lens. They're going to look at it emotionally. And I think a lot of Leaf fans looked at it and said, "You're a local guy. You should know better." And I think, whether it was true or not, again, perception becomes reality. The perception was never with Mitch. He said he loved being a Leaf, but he didn't act that way. Like he didn't. You
don't think so?
Well, I mean, the negotiation's a perfect example, Jonas. Do you know how easy it would have been for him to pull up Matthew Nyes? Look what Nyes did. That kid grew up in Arizona. He's like, I want this done before July 1st. Let's get it done. Let's get something fair. And I just want to be. How is it different?
That's the original sin. But that's a significant 2019.
One.
He's 22, I think, 23 at that point.
It's still his. It's still his.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, Nyes,
his legacy. Sure. Matthew Nyes, a kid from Arizona, said, "I want to be a Leaf. Let's get it done."
Yeah.
The kid from Toronto said, "I'm not showing up until you pay me exactly what I demand."
Fair.
That's not like if you're asking for fans are going to say, "Wait a minute, are you serious, dude? Like, what are you doing here? I thought you were a Leaf fan. But you'd know better. Look how good you guys are. You got a chance to win here."
Yeah.
So that's how it starts. Then you tag on playoff performances that were simply abysmal in the biggest moments. Not alone.
Yep.
I always have to qualify that. It's not only him. I get it. There's other guys, but we're talking about Mitch, and he's the one that's left. That's how you deal with what you're dealing with now.
Yeah.
It's not hard to figure out.
No,
it's not, and I don't think the fans are being so crazy and lunatics up there. What a stupid, wild market. Totally reasonable for people, and not everyone feels that way.
No,
there's a lot of people from here that are really damaged by the fact that he left. Wanted him here. Wanted him to stay.
Well, I think part of that, if like you want to split that into two, it's like looking at the team now, and it's like this team is worse. Like,
do you think the Boston Red Sox are worse without Rafael Devers?
That's not the
Why is it? Why?
Thing.
Did they not just run off 10 in a row?
You're telling me the Leafs are better without Marner?
I'm not sure.
Look at their team.
They might be. It's not on paper on July 14th, Jonas, is not when you play hockey. When Devers got flipped. No, but it's the truth, man. Literally. Now, again, we'll see what the Red Sox are in 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
But they just ran off 10 in a row. When Devers got traded, I thought, and all of it, they stink now. You just got rid of your best bat. They're going to fall off. The team collectively is in a better position. I'm not predicting that will happen. On paper, I'm not arguing against you. On paper, Marner clearly makes them a better team. But it's a team sport. It's a game.
Sure, yeah.
There's a lot of different things that go into it.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that they're going to be awful because Mitch Marner's not on their team.
I don't mean awful, but I don't know how are they going to have more points than last year? I doubt it.
Are
they going to be
what
better?
Does that mean?
Let me ask you, are they going to be better offensively? No. Are they going to be better defensively? Probably not. So, like, they're not better. There's no, you can't, I know what you're saying, like, you could take a piece out and, like, suddenly different things start to happen and, like, maybe they have a good season. Like, they could have a good season, sure. But I don't know how you
Are you preparing for a much worse season because just one player is gone?
I don't know what is much worse. Like, could I see them being, like,
low 90s and barely making the playoffs?
I don't think it's impossible. I would predict them in like. Do
you think that would be impossible if Marner was still here? Like, do you think Marner alone is worth like 10 points in the standings?
5 to 10? I don't know. I don't know I don't know the WAR metrics in hockey, but okay. He's probably their best defensive player, at least their best defensive forward. Mm-hmm. Unless you want to count Matthews, like one of those two.
Yeah.
And he's, if not their best offensive player, then he's their second best or third best offensive player.
Yeah,
so you take your
player.
best defensive player and your best offensive player off the team, you're going to be worse. You just are. He logged the most minutes on the team. Like, there's no way. First penalty kill, first power play, like first line. Come on, man.
Okay.
But like, you also have to factor in, it's like, well, that player, they didn't get that player in the playoffs. Like, that's what makes his legacy so difficult, is like, you almost have to have two conversations. It's like the regular season player, unbelievable.
One of the all-time great Leafs.
Right? Like one of the
indisputable.
handful.
Yep.
But then like the playoffs is just, it never came together.
Yeah.
Actually, it came together like once or twice, but
yeah,
when he's a kid.
Not in the biggest moments.
No.
And it seemed to get worse and tougher as it went on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I know what you're saying. Like
their goalies are
fans
still
can pick
here.
whatever they want.
No,
Yeah,
but
like,
in terms of the team building, like they have both goalies.
Are they going to be as good next year? I have no idea. Are both goalies going to play as much as last year? I have no idea.
Well, I mean, okay, but maybe Marner's here and he blows out his knee in training camp. Like if you know what I mean, you got to be reasonable with, are they going to, well, maybe they won't, maybe they'll be better.
But they had like top 10, top 5 goaltending last year. Is that going to happen again? I doubt it. Maybe.
Okay, so maybe that, and with or without Marner,
and they're
going to
be worse defensively because their best defensive forward is not on the team.
No, I mean,